Welcome back to another Nourish to Flourish segment with yours truly, Megan the Trainer, registered dietitian. And today I am going to talk about finding joy in eating, finding joy in feeding yourself. This is something that we have to make a decision about every day, multiple times, for the rest of our life. So this decision is not going away anytime soon. It's not one that we can procrastinate, and it's not something that we can just skip because we need to eat, and we need to eat to live, and we need to eat to thrive too. So I know you might be, you watching this, and I know clients that I talk with all probably are feeling this level of frustration at some point in life, and that maybe you feel some decision fatigue when it comes to meal planning and organizing and deciding what to eat, because you've made a bunch of decisions all day long, and then the last thing you want to make, the most infuriating question is, what are we going to have for supper? What am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have for a snack? What am I going to eat for the rest of the week? Are we going to have any leftovers? Is the kids actually going to eat it, or are they going to be too picky? Do we have a safe food for them? Blah, 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 blah. Being in the kitchen and preparing food is not a very enjoyable time, right? But now here's the deal. If you don't enjoy feeding yourself, if you don't enjoy the foods that you are eating, you're probably not going to be supporting your health or your goals to the best of your own abilities. Because again, think about it. If you don't like being in the kitchen, if you don't like preparing your foods, if you don't like planning those kinds of things, if you don't like choosing broccoli, you are probably not going to make the best choices then. So this is where I, again, remind clients that this is the decision that you have to make every day for the rest of your life. So you might as well make it fun. But at the same time, we can't have every decision be only driven by fun, be only driven by joy. Because I'm sure as much as we all would love to eat chocolate chip cookies every day, all day for the rest of our life, that's not going to probably have the best health outcomes or goal outcomes, right? So this is where we need to kind of find that middle ground where we can have some enjoyment and we can get some satisfaction and some pleasure out of preparing our food or out of feeding ourselves, but at the same time where we're not letting that pleasure be our only, focus for that dopamine hit. So for those in my book club, we are currently reading The Glucose Revolution, which is all about regulating blood sugar levels. And I want to share just a little snippet from this. And so it says, in a 2016 study, mice, now again, I know mice are not exactly the same as humans, but just bear with me here. Mice were given a lever in which they could activate their own dopamine neurons, thanks to special optical sensors. The researchers saw peculiar behavior. If they left the mice to their own devices, the mice spent all day pressing their lever to activate those dopamine neurons over and over. They stopped eating and drinking to the point where eventually the researchers had to end the experiment because otherwise the mice were going to die. The mice's dopamine obsession had them forget their basic needs. And I think maybe as humans, we choose that as well sometimes. We choose the convenience food. We choose the stopping through the drive-thru. We choose the whatever, insert here, for that dopamine hit without actually caring for our health, without caring for our goals. So if you don't know where to begin, here are a couple of starting points, starting tips that I would have if you're like, I don't find joy in cooking, I don't find joy in feeding myself, maybe I don't like my body, maybe I don't like the foods that I am restricted to. Here's where, again, I want you to start. Start with the things that do give you joy. Maybe if it's a special meal at a restaurant or something that a family member makes for you. Start with that. Make it on your own at your home. Make that thing that gives you joy. And now here's the other thing too, because I get it. It's probably going to require a little bit of work. Maybe more work than you're willing to give. But again, this is an important thing here, because again, this is not a thing that we are going to outrun in our life, or again, something that we can procrastinate. So bring that joy to you. You make that joy now. And if you're also somebody who's like, Megan, the foods and things that give me joy, that list is very, very short. Like, I don't have a ton of options, because let's be real, me as a dietitian, there's a lot of things on my joy list. Like, I don't mind broccoli, especially when it's air fried with a little bit of garlic and Parmesan. Like, chef's kiss. Anyway, I digress. If your joy list is very short, then let's see how can we include your joy foods with things that maybe don't bring you as much joy, but are important and helpful to your goals and helpful to your health. So that way we can still enjoy mealtimes. We can still enjoy taking care of our body, because again, remember, feeding yourself, that's basic level self-care. If you can't feed yourself, or if you can't feed yourself for your goals or for your health, you are neglecting yourself in a sense. Okay? So I'll just let you sit with that. So, again, we need to find joy. We need to enjoy the foods that we are making. We need to enjoy the meals that we are preparing, so that way we can enjoy taking care of ourselves, which in turn gives us the best investment ever, or best return on our investment ever. And that we get to live a happy, healthy life. Well, hopefully a happy, healthy life. So now that you know better, let's go out and do better so we can all be better.